And now, from a lonely little corner of the Bronx.
No, I don't know, J-Lo. Since the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel on October 10, and at the time of this taping, Israel has killed over 500 Palestinian and injured 1,000 more. After Netanyahu ordered forceful strikes in Gaza, and all the time blocking essential aid, Israel agreed to allow 600 trucks in a day and are letting in less than 200. And then there's this clip of the murder of 2 Palestinian men with their hands up as they try to surrender to IDF soldiers.
Palestine TV news footage showed the men exiting a building surrounded by armed Israeli forces in the northern West Bank city of Jenin, lifting their shirts and lying on the ground in an apparent surrender. The forces then appeared to direct the men back inside the building before opening fire at close range.
This ceasefire has held up about as well as a Temu tent in a hurricane. So, to recap, stopping the bombs? No. Stopping the aid? Yeah. Stopping the profits? Oh, sweetheart, never. The Trump administration tried to sell the ceasefire as a humanitarian breakthrough. But like most things associated with the word Trump, it turns out to be a front for people trying to make money while the rest of us are just trying to survive. UN Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese presented her report, From Economy of Occupation to the Economy of Genocide.
While the Israeli army, and accompanied by settlers, was devastating Palestinian lives and landscapes, the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange soared by 213%, amassing over 220 billion in market gains, including 76.8 billion US dollars in the past month alone. So clearly, for some, genocide is profitable.
Her words, we're watching an economy of genocide, not a metaphor, not an exaggeration, an economy. Because war isn't just violence. War is a business plan. So how does the Gaza war machine go about making money? Let me give you the 4-step colonizer starter plan. Number 1, level the city. Number 2, block the aid. Number 3, win the contracts. And number 4, call it reconstruction. It's a smash and cash model. The U.S. sent 10,000 tons of weapons, 244 cargo planes, 20 ships, 15,000 bombs, and 50,000 artillery shells in just the first month and a half. And Congress has been so out of the loop, they couldn't find the loop with Google Maps. The U.S. already gives Israel $3.8 billion a year and now is adding another $14 billion. But all of this must be spent on U.S.-made weapons, meaning Lockheed Martin, Boeing, General Dynamics, Death. Oh, good. Everyone brought receipts. And then come the tech financiers. Now, enter Michael Eisenberg, a venture capitalist who looked at Gaza and said, you know what this place needs? More startups and less survivors. Eisenberg co-founded the venture fund Aleph, also the name of the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which represents concepts like masterful or wondrous, which has invested $850 million in Israeli tech. But his real genius, he helped create the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is less Humanitarian Foundation and more the Hunger Games 2025. Now, for a very close and detailed look at this, take a look at one of our previous podcasts called the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They controlled the aid. They controlled the access. They set up aid distribution sites that functioned as death traps. Starving people were indiscriminately shot and killed by the IDF as they sprinted across a military area to get a box
waiting
of
for
food.
aid at GHF sites. One called it a killing field.
To fulfill the principle of humanity, an organization needs to treat the recipients, the people it's working with respect, with dignity, with a sense of humanity. The GHF does not do that.
And how has GHF undermined that?
By organizing its ration stations in a manner that forces desperately hungry people to make these impossible choices between, do I endanger my life by sprinting through a military zone where the IDF may shoot at me in order to feed my family, or do I accept my fate that we are going to go hungry? These are inhumane choices.
And now he's been appointed by Netanyahu as a civilian representative to the U.S. Army Coordination Center. Because apparently the job, billionaire tech bro, didn't have enough blood on it.
We raised $150 million from global investors, not Israeli investors, Silicon Valley, London. People came, people invested. You'd be shocked to see around Tel Aviv, foreign investors walking around. They get it too. It's safe in Tel Aviv, despite the news reports. And investors have turned up to invest.
I tell you what he's saying, but it's just money, 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 money in tech bro. This isn't reconstruction. This is recolonization, brought to you by Silicon Valley and Wall Street. Gaza is being turned into a profit zone where Palestinians rebuild the very structures that were bombed over them. And the model is spreading to the West Bank, to surveillance systems, and to U.S. police departments to become a testing ground there. Exported here. Israeli surveillance tech is marketed to the U.S. They build walls there and prisons here. They limit movement there and pass anti-protest laws here. Gaza and the U.S. are two fronts of the same authoritarian blueprint. And if that doesn't haunt you, remember, these people think democracy is a Bitcoin for old people. Now, let's talk about the weapons you don't see, because bombs kill people loudly. Data kills people quietly. And then send you the receipt. Gaza is the most densely surveilled place on earth. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's profitable. This is a live, real-time product demo for surveillance companies. A trade show where their giveaways are trauma and the lanyards are ankle monitors. Palantir does data fusion, which is a sexy way of saying we take everything you do and turn it into a guess about whether you should be alive or dead. They combine drone footage, phone location data, social network analysis, biometric information to create automatic target lists. No warrant, no trial, no human pulse. Just the computer says yes. And here's why journalists are in extra danger. Algorithms do not recognize moral categories. They don't see reporter or camera person or press vest. They see person moving between two other people who are also moving. Congratulations. You are now a pattern of life, which sounds like a yoga class but ends like a funeral. This is why more journalists have been killed in Gaza than any other modern conflict on record. Cameras don't protect you when the weapon is an Excel sheet with a body count column. NSO also makes Pegasus, spyware so invasive it could read your thoughts if you typed them first. Yeah, Pegasus can turn on your mic, read encrypted messages, track you in real time, which means a journalist's phone becomes a Jeeps-enabled confessional booth.
With just a single text, it can bypass your phone's security and install spyware that grants complete access to your device.
It can access every message you've ever sent. It can access every message you've ever received. It can access every photo, every video, every email. It can turn on your microphone. It can turn on the microphone even when you're not using a phone call and just record what you're doing in the room. It can turn on your camera. It can record what's on your screen. It can access your GPS. It can monitor your location.
And it can do all of this without you ever knowing. The spyware technology that makes this possible is called Pegasus.
Source reading, logged. Safe location, mapped. Family members, associated entities. Press freedom does not survive when your phone is a double agent. Cellebrite extracts data from phones, including phones taken from detained journalists and dead journalists, which means even after you're killed, your contact list is still being questioned. That's not intelligence. That's a digital Ouija board with a military budget. So let's talk about the companies that say, we don't drop bombs. No, you just tell the bombs where to go faster. Enter Amazon and Google. A $1.2 billion cloud contract for the Israeli government and military. This is not email storage. This is mass surveillance, facial recognition, AI target correlation, real-time data analysis, which means the cloud is not neutral. The cloud is just a weapon with better PR. When employees protested, the company said, this is general purpose technology, which is like someone selling a chainsaw and saying, hey, it's also great for ice sculptures. Now the banks, BNP Paribas, Barclays, Vanguard, they buy Israeli treasury bonds, which floats the loan until it's all over. Which means when the war gets expensive, they step in and say, don't worry, we believe in this project. Not morally, financially. This is war underwriting. Without these bonds, the war slows down. With them, it scales. Apparently, the only risk they care about is losing money, not lives. Very important point. Gaza is not the end user. Gaza is the lab. Everything that works there gets exported here. Surveillance systems, facial recognition, predictive policing. And it's sold to police departments, border patrol, immigration enforcement, including agencies like ICE. Occupation abroad becomes public safety at home. Same software, different language, new people in the crosshairs. Put a pin on this. This is going to be its own episode in the future. And it's going to be uncomfortable. So now you're probably thinking, this is horrible. This is complicated. What the hell am I supposed to do? Cancel my Amazon Prime subscription and Palestine will be free? First of all, but also more, because there's some good news. This system is so powerful, but it's not invincible. It runs on money, silence, and the assumption that you'll get tired and go home. So let's do the opposite. War stops when the financial line goes down and shareholders get nervous. That means divestment, boycotts, pressure campaigns, pension fund mutinies. Ask your university, why is my tuition invested in dead children? Ask your city, why are my tax funds in war bonds? Ask your pension fund, do I retire on blood or can we mix in some morality with that? Corporations do not have consciences. They have spreadsheets. So change the numbers. No more defensive exemptions. No more temporary aid. No more. It's complicated. An arms embargo means no bombs, no parts, no software, no cloud services, no, oh, but this is just logistics lies. Call your representatives. Yes, even the bad ones. Make them sweat. Politicians fear two things: losing elections and being quoted forever. Give them both. When journalists die, the lie wins. Support independent media. Fund reporters, share their work. When they try to smear journalists as being biased, remember, every dictator hates the press for the same reason. It works. This is not over there. Gaza is the lab, and you are the market. Surveillance tech tested on Palestinians ends up at your border, at your protest, at your police department. This isn't foreign policy. This is a preview. They are waiting you out. They are counting on news fatigue, moral exhaustion, the next shiny disaster. Don't give it to them. History does not remember who was reasonable. It remembers who was right and who was quiet. They want you to think that you are powerless. You are not. You are just poor in a system where money is God and war is a sacrament. But even gods panic when the offering plate comes back empty. End it that way.
Politihoot.